Now, and down, and then all those opposed, raise the hands up on the thing, and down. Any abstentions? Noted. And it passes. So awesome. I do want to quickly make a comment here. I feel like not everyone's raising their hand. I mean, there should at least, I get the abstaining part, but there should be, for the people who are voting members, the senators, I would, I'm just going to friendly say, hey, we need you to all be participating. If you're not, I'm not making any accusations. I'm just saying, let's please hope that we're doing that. Okay, then I'm going to move down to our first guest. I'm going to say it right. Sarah, Rangi, you had a question? I'm sorry, Tina.
No, I don't. I've been having problems with my speed out here, and I've been raising and lowering, and it's not even noting that. So I apologize. I've been approving everything you've said so far, but
Then
it should.
we'll modify as needed. If you have to raise your, if you're letting us all know, that's what communication is. If you have to raise your hand, like so we can see it like actually visually, that's perfectly fine. As long as we all know that, that's part. I'm gonna move on to our first guest, Tina Ahito, see I said it right, Goodman South Dean, extraordinaire. So it looks like what you got. You got 10 minutes. Go ahead and take it away.
Gosh, I don't even know if I need the whole 10 minutes, but I probably do. So thank you, everyone, for having me here tonight. Um, Sheila, Teams sometimes does that. There's a lag between you taking your action and then it showing up, like even for chat and stuff like that. So just keep at it, Sean. You're absolutely right. It's communication. So I just wanted to say it is really great to see you guys in school, right? We started off the semester and we have been super busy. In fact, I don't know why, but it kind of caught me off guard, like how busy we actually are. I was thinking students are online learning, we wouldn't see them as much in person, but actually that has not bore out at all. We have been especially busy, and you guys have probably experienced this. With the book distribution, right? Since you couldn't come in person to pick those up, they had to figure out different ways to get your books out to you. So we were a location for that. And initially, we kind of improvised. We had students making appointments to come in. And you can imagine what a logistical challenge that became to send emails back and forth to students and trying to figure out a time. So instead, we had curbside. They had to make an appointment for that. What we decided is that we were going to do a drive-through. So we have been drive-throughing for books for the last 2 weeks, and it's fantastic because it's just like when you order from a restaurant. You call, we have a location. You call, you let us know we're here. You're here. We get your name. We find your order, and then we take it out so that helps us maintain the safety aspect, right? We don't want students to come on campus if they don't need to. We're all messed up. We're able to come out to them. They can check their order. And we've just been able to move so many more students through in picking up those books. So we've just been really happy, really pleased with that. I don't know if we're going to do that when it's 20 below and it's January. We'll see. Maybe we'll hire some student help. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We'll see. We'll see what we get done for that time. But it's just been a really fantastic way for us to get that piece done and out to students so they get what they need. Um, I'm looking at Ellie and looking at Barbara. We started back up, thanks to Denise, the food pantry. So we're doing that on as curbside delivery. In fact, the semi was here delivering food today, and we've had students make use of that already. Sadly, but also I'm glad that the service is there for people as they see fit. So I know Denise is working with a couple of students who are in the nursing program, so that have that health interest, and so that's been going really well. In addition to that, so Students have been coming by for their one cards, for their bus passes, especially because we're not doing the shuttle this semester. And well, I don't think we've made a decision about next semester, but for sure this semester, there's no shuttle, like you guys may know. So the bus pass has been really important. People have been coming in for that. And in addition to that, we've started our in-face classes. There are some classes that are face-to-face, particularly the science courses that have that lab work that needs to be done. So far we've seen A&P, anatomy and physiology students. We've seen microbiology students. We've seen, there's a partnership that we have right now with some schools. We're doing an academy for phlebotomy. So we've seen those students, EMT students, and our nursing students in addition to that. So it's been nice to see you guys. So it's really nice to see the students come into campus and be able to provide some services to them. Student Life has been here to provide welcome back to school kits. And I know there's one other kit that we're going to be distributing, helping with that. So just really trying, even though it's an unusual time, trying to provide as much as we can of an environment where students feel like they can be here. So the last thing I'll say is with the STEM program, we're having the high school students complete, that program where they can complete their junior and senior years with us and then pick up that degree with us and then complete their high school. Many of those students, we have 103, I think, participants this year. Many of those students are low income, free lunch, reduced lunch students that take that at their schools. So one of the things that we did do to help with the food insecurity issue is we are offering a hot lunch, and I mean hot lunch like as hot as it can get over here at Goodman South. And so students are able to come in, with their ID and be able to have lunch here. So we've had a few students take advantage of that. It has been a resource for them. So that's been good. And in addition to that, I know someone had asked me, and I don't know, Ellie, I guess it might have been you, about the equity and inclusion plan and that work that's going on. I know you guys are going to be taking up that work this year, correct? And so you may know that we're working on a new plan, and I think I had seen a session, Ellie, that's scheduled with the students next week in Lucia, right? Okay. Well, in addition to that, and I'm not sure if this came down to you guys or not, Dr. Daniels has asked each of his units, all the people who, do planning at the college to offer some kind of service or some kind of work related to, I guess, to what we do. He's asked us to drive those plans down into our unit plan. So department by department, we've been asked to include a diversity and inclusion, equity and inclusion goal, 3 goals actually, in our plans. And what that does for us, you guys, for the first time ever, this is the first time this has ever happened at the college. And for the first time ever, I'm super excited about it because what it does is it spreads responsibility. It says each of us is responsible for making the campus, the college, an environment where people want to be, right? So what is our responsibility in that? And then 2, along with that responsibility, then is the accountability. What are we doing and how are we going to be assessed and measured on what we said we were going to do? So I think that's a wonderful thing. Maybe not everybody would agree with me who doesn't like to do assessment, although Zong is on here and I know she's an expert on that. You guys are going to hear from her. But that's, I think, just a really critical step in the work that we've engaged with equity and inclusion over the years. This is just a really important turning point in us being able, in that evolution of how are we going to create the kind of college that we want to be. So we'll be looking forward to that work, and I'll be looking forward to whatever you guys are going to be sharing and providing feedback to Lucia on next week or whenever it is that you meet. So those are really my updates in terms of what's going on. You may know that our enrollments are down this semester. We're down about 10%, 9.6 I think is where things were, but the college is planning a late term start. I already had, for example, someone enrolled today in a class that starts September 21st next week. It's a 12-week class, but then we'll also be bringing up a whole cadre of 8-week classes as well. So really going to try to make that make college available for people who maybe decided initially they were going to sit things out because they just weren't sure, things were too uncertain. Really give them that opportunity to come in, because one of the things that I fear, in particular, you know, where I sit at Goodman South and the service population, the population that we serve out of here, what I'm afraid of is that we're going to have a whole generation of high school students, particularly high schools, we're going to get that data, who aren't enrolling. And you guys know, you're students, you know that the longer you stay out of school, the harder it is to come back, right? Because you're off doing other things. You're off, you know, living your lives and, you know, taking care of your responsibilities. So I think, you know, marketing is on that, the college is on that. So you're going to be seeing some additional work and some additional campaigns come out to really drive home that message that if college is something that you were thinking about, come in, even take one class, right? Because people might have had a bad virtual learning experience when they were in high school, right? Everybody had to shift. It was an emergency at that point. But really try to make that case that, you know, if you need to be here, if college is in your future, you need to be here and making progress. So we'll see how things shake out. And if you guys know of anybody, you know, who maybe needs a little bit of encouragement, let us know. We'll be glad to reach out. Okay. All right. I think that's all I had. Questions for me?
Anyone questions? No, it doesn't look like no questions.
Really? I was
yeah,
able to answer all questions. You guys are amazing. Okay.
Senator Fisher, take it away.
Yeah, I'm just glad that you shared what you did about the equity and inclusion plan. Be interesting to see how that is rolled out as we continue to look at equity and inclusion now from the Student Senate as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'm really looking forward to the student feedback because we think, right, you get different people at the table, you have different voices, but in the end, this is about you guys, right? So what can we do to ensure that, again, this is the place that you want to be? So I look forward to the work too, Shia.
1 minute left. Anyone have any last minute questions before we move on? Doesn't look like it. Well then, Tina, I say thank you.
Thank you.
It's always a pleasure, and yeah, that was a lot of great information, and you always help us know what's going on over there.
I appreciate that. You guys, do you mind if I hop off today? I gotta go pick up my grandson. Started school. They went back in person because he's in a Catholic school, and so I gotta go pick him up. Is that okay? Is that all right?
Definitely.
Let me log off.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Carry on. See you later.
Amazing. Okay. Hey, Zong.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Next guest, Zong. Please, take it away. And explain your presentation, I guess. It's also a pleasure to have you. I mean, you kind of knew that from our emails, but yeah.
Thank you, Sean, and the rest of the Senate team here for having me. I'm excited to be sharing this information with you. You know, I feel that the students, all of you, are pretty much the future of our community, and in addition, you know, the environment that we have at our college, but also in the general community overall. So I'm going to be sharing some information here with you. Some of this has been disseminated already to the board or, you know, to the executive team, and I'm just sharing this with you so that you are also aware. Anytime if the Senate or anybody else that's working with students, if you want to have data, just want to let you guys know that as the manager in institutional research, we're also here to help you, okay, and to serve you in that capacity with data and information. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just start, and feel free to let me know if you guys have any questions or anything like that. You know, go ahead and, you know, let me know and I can answer questions. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just start out. My presentation is going to be on some of the historical information and data that we have at the college. Okay, and as a part of, our college data system, we have a lot of information. Okay, so I know that many of you are here, trying to get an education and hopefully, hoping to graduate, and hopefully all of you will graduate. But this is graduation information. I decided to go ahead and break it down by race and ethnicity. Last time, your leadership team wanted to have some information on, whether we have a equity gap when it comes to the race and ethnicity specifically. So this data here is from that perspective. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start out with some information that is from 2011, okay, and that's from a cohort that came in the two-year degree programs. So just imagine that in fall of 2011, we had 100 like program students come in, okay, and in terms of demographic, this is what they look like, okay. You have like 9 African American, 7 Hispanic, okay, and then 4 Asians, 1 Native American, and then 79 from the white population. So here's who we have starting out that particular year. Okay, so when they came, if we were to look at it like this particular cohort, sometimes we know that people take longer to graduate than others. Okay, so we're looking back, from 2016 at this 2011 cohort. So 5 years later, where are they now? Okay, so we see that one of the African American group graduated. We had 1 Hispanic person graduate, 1 Asian graduate, and 18 students white graduate. Okay, so that leaves about 3 African Americans still in school, 3 Hispanics still in school, 1 Asian still in school, and 7 students of color pretty much still in school, along with 21 white students. So our concern is, if we're going for a target, our goal is to graduate, what happened to those people? We had 28 of them total still in school, 21 of them graduated. What happened to 51 students? Okay, so they discontinue within that time frame. So if our goal was graduation, and we're looking at it 5 years after they came in, this should be concerning to us. And so as an educational institution, we want to prepare our students to be able to go out there and not just, spend money going to school, get an education, but graduate so that you could become more employable. Okay, so that's a concern. Okay, so one of the things that before you even get to graduation, that is what I consider to be like the building block for the persistence piece and the retention, going from 1 year to the next. And then graduation is how successful are you in your course, okay? So for us, we recently, within the last 5 years, had our courses divided into what we call gatekeeper courses and non-gatekeeper courses. So the gatekeeper courses are listed right here on the right-hand side. They are courses that have high enrollment and also have high failures, okay? So we wanted to be able to go ahead and choose from the different schools the courses that would be sort of like gatekeepers, or they need to take that in order to go on and move on into their particular program. And many of these here, they apply to many different programs. So say, for example, Accounting Principles 1 has application across a lot of the businesses. Anatomy, Physiology 1, a lot of, the science courses, and many of the algebra courses, same thing, chemistry, psychology, so writing, intro to college writing. So these were considered to be gatekeeper courses. Okay, so this information here we shared with the board too. So you can see here, when we're looking at gatekeeper courses, we're just looking at grades. How did our students do when it came to grades? I'm going to be sharing with you, those, we dissect this information by a few different demographics that we more or less capture on our students. Among them is age, how old are our students, which gender are they, and what ethnicity are they. So these are the three basic demographics that we have been collecting, and Department of Ed has, more or less wanted all educational institutions to collect for a very long time. So we have this information that's available. In this particular view of it, you'll see that I have gatekeeper courses by age. Okay, those who are 22 and under, those who are 23 to 39, those who are 40 and older. Okay, so you can see grade distributions. Okay, and the numbers are up on top here, and then you get a trend. Are we trending up or are we trending down here? Then you actually see those who are C or above. Okay, and here, say for example, those 22 and under, we see that those getting C or above is about 65%, and then it trends over the years. Okay, and so we're averaging right now about the 67, 68 for that particular age group. Okay, so the next you have the next age group, which is the 23 to 39, and you can see that they do a little bit better. Okay, there is a significant change here within that particular age group. And when we did actually do some correlations with age, it seems like the older the students are, the more likely it is that they are able to go ahead and do better in school. And oftentimes, some of the research shows it's more or less just managing time. The older you get, the more you are able to go ahead and manage your time. So that's gatekeeper courses and their success rate. Does anybody have any questions about, the gatekeeper or, how we're looking at success? Okay. Okay, if not, next is the non-gatekeeper courses. Okay, so here we have the non-gatekeeper courses are defined more or less as those courses that people require for their program. And so typically these are the ones that, you're already more or less in your program already. So you can see that they, students do better here in these particular courses because they're more relevant to their degree. These other ones that are non-gatekeeper, that are gatekeeper courses, they're more general, general eds and stuff like that. So, they seem to do better here with the gatekeeper courses with, students who are 22 and under still, in the 70s, but, the other age groups are in like the 80s. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and just, have you guys look at the large picture, breaking it down by race and ethnicity. So you guys can see here, some of these numbers are pretty small, for our for our American Indian and, Pacific Islander piece, they were put into the Asian group. And so some of the numbers, if you look at them over time, they're pretty small. So later on, I'm going to go ahead and just, collapse the years. But in this view of the world, you see there's 5 years, there's a 5-year trend. And you can see how they are different by the different ethnicities. Okay, so you have your high of actually your white population down here, with the gatekeeper courses, majority of them are scoring in like, the 70%. So you're looking at, 7 out of 10 people actually passing their classes. Versus, down below, you have your Black and Hispanic. Okay, so they're in like the 50, for Black, you're in the 50th percentile here, with 55 around there being, the average there for these years here. So if you're talking about, out of 10 people, almost, like 6 out of 10, sometimes 5 out of 10 pass. Okay, so that's where, later on I'll share with you guys when we're looking at it, we're asking questions. Okay, and hopefully when you guys are looking at this type of information, you're also asking questions. Why is it like that? Okay, what can we do to potentially make it so that there is not this gap? Okay, we want to be able to have all of our students be successful. Okay, because then you can go out there and impact the world. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at, the non-gatekeepers for the more general ethnic breakdown here. Later on, I'm going to look at it by gender too, but here we have, as you can see here, with the non-gatekeeper, there is overall a lot more people passing, but you still see that pattern, okay, of up at the high end is your white population, and then, at the lower end is your African American and your Hispanic, okay. The American Indian is there too, but their numbers are really small, so they fluctuate a little bit too much, okay. But you see here the group that is bigger, the Black and Hispanic group, they're in like the thousands here, okay. So that means these numbers don't fluctuate as much, and as a group, there's still that gap there, okay. So when we look at this type of information, we start to ask, how can we help to have it so that everybody comes up, okay? And this is not something that we want to, in any shape, way, form, often people look at this type of information and they go, well, if we do something different, that means we're going to be dumbing down the, curriculum or whatever. That is not the intent. When you have a automotive mechanic or something like that, you want them to be able to go ahead and do the job, okay? And it doesn't, really matter, which ethnicity they come from, okay? Same thing with nursing, okay? You want to have the nurse be, qualified to do it, okay? It's just that certain people learn in certain ways, and we want to be able to go ahead and meet them where they are at and help them and take them to the next step, make them successful, okay? So now I'm going to go ahead and just take a look at more or less pulling these data pieces together so that you guys can see, because there is a gap, okay, even within the gender, okay, gender and ethnicity group, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and just share this with you so that you can see. With our gatekeeper courses, you have here C or above people who withdraw, or the D or below, and the people who withdraw. Okay, and the benchmark that we're going to go ahead and use is going to be our our white population, white female population. They're down below here, and you can see that they are succeeding at like about 78%. Okay, so when we look at that and we compare it to some of our other groups, okay, you can see two that are highlighted. Okay, so you have your female, Black, and Hispanic. Okay, so there's a gap of like almost 19% here for the Black female, about 11% for the Hispanic one. But then when you come down here, you take a look at the male population, then you see here, there's like, our Black male are only succeeding at 50% or so. So you're looking at 1 out of 2, African American male that's actually getting a C or above in some of these courses. Okay, so if I was a teacher and I was teaching, some of these courses, that would be a concern to me. Okay, if I was looking at this type of information and I saw that, then that would hopefully raise some flags for me. And this is where we need to have some initiatives that could help to address some of this, because there's a gap. This is what we mean when we say there's a gap here of like 26%, okay, between our white population that is the benchmark of female to everybody else. Okay, so they're all pretty much here in the negative. Okay, so, and our intent is not to make it so that the white female does not succeed. Okay, they still will be getting the same type of curriculum and things like that, but then we need to look at why these other populations are not succeeding at the same level. Okay. Okay, so then when we look at the non-gatekeeper courses, you see that similar trend, but the trend more or less is not as bad. Okay, and the gap is not as bad, but you still see that same trend here when you look at the African American or the Hispanic population there. There's still that gap, and it's much more severe in the male population. Okay. So pretty much, I just want to also share with you guys the trend that we have in the race ethnicity category, because we are trending pretty much up. Okay, so you can see that, for us, as a college, our head count is here, we're somewhat, right now, this year that we're in, we still have spring to come, but you can see that for some of the programs or some of the actual years here, where we've been having around 30,000 unduplicated headcount or students. Okay, so a little bit above 30. This year is probably not going to meet that, but I want you guys to now take a look at like the demographics that we have. The Asian, Black, Hispanic, multiracial, and white population. Our college is, consistent, right around 65 to 67, 68% for our white population. However, this is decreasing a little bit. Part of that is trending with the rest of Madison and Dane County. So you see that the Asian population is trending up in terms of their enrollment. Same thing with the African American. The Hispanic population is especially been increasing quite a bit here, and your multiracial, that's also increasing quite a bit. Okay, so some of these here, you can see that, let's take a look at like Asian here. Okay, they make up about 4.8% of our population, but they're taking quite a few courses, and so that means that, out of that, they account for like 5.6% of our FTEs, and FTE is tied to how many courses people take, things like that. So some of them are consistent, similar, some of them are, taking more courses. So your Asian and your Hispanic population are taking more courses. Okay. So overall, the demographic of our district is changing. The population is becoming more diverse, basically. Age and breakdown gender, just also wanted to share with you guys that, this is the age of our different populations. Okay, so you can see here, our Asian, Hispanic, they're pretty similar. We're starting in like the 16-17 academic year here. However, we are all pretty much trending younger. Okay, and especially among the Hispanic population. Okay, their like average age now for all of the students that are Hispanic is like 21 years old. Okay, and with the economy the way it is, we have seen that we continue to trend younger, except for our African American or Black population is still, averaging about 24 years old. Okay. Okay, so let's take a look at the gender breakout. Okay, and so that you guys can see, there's a concern about the male population, okay, because they have been trending downward. So overall, you can see that here's the total enrollment for us. Okay, and then our male population is sitting at like around 45. Okay, population, except for that this year, we're now like 41% of our students are male. Okay, and this is similar in the other demographics too, but you can see how they have been trending. And some of them, the African American male this year, they dropped quite a bit. Okay, so they're in like, the 30 percentiles here with Hispanic and Black. And so among that group, it seems like they're not enrolling as much as they used to before. Okay. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen this particular picture here, but it talks about equality. Okay, and oftentimes when we're looking at issues of equality and equity, people often may get the wrong concepts that by doing certain things we're pulling everybody down or we're pulling down the standards and things like that. But I think this image here really shows what we're trying to do. And in the first one, you see that if we assume that everyone will benefit from the same support, then basically if you have somebody starting out and they have particular barriers already in their life, then, they're not able to achieve at the level that somebody else who may not have those particular barriers, and so you can see here, if we're trying to support them and things like that, that's the second image there. You support them with additional other things, okay? But here is like the third one, where if something is systematic, you change the system, and hopefully that will remove the different barriers. But this is some of the, equality. Yes.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but you are out of time, but I will entertain a motion to extend the time if anyone will. It looks like Senator Willis. Do you have a second? Probably it looks like my window. Yeah, with Moreno, Senator VP Moreno. Okay. All those in favor, just do the hand raising beside Sheila now, please. All those opposed. And Senator Willis, how much time did you want to extend it by? It passes anyway.
I'd say 5 minutes, because that would cover her finishing in 2 and us having maybe 2 or 3 minutes for questions.
All right, then 5 minutes starting at 5:10 here. Okay, I'm sorry. No, you can continue now, Zon.
Thank you. So pretty much that's it. This is the end of my slide. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, I will go ahead and entertain questions now.
Senator Fisher.
Yes, first of all, I want to say, fantastic presentation. I feel like we definitely learned a lot. And, you'll be happy to know that the Student Senate did pass an initiative to have a racial inequity initiative recently. Now, we haven't started the ad hoc committee for said initiative yet, but I would hope that, this is something that we could spend a little bit more time, maybe have you participate, should that committee meet soon. I was actually taken by one of the slides because it showed a downward trend in grades for white students. And this is when you're talking about the gatekeeper courses. I was wondering if we could either go back to that or just kind of look at that a little bit. That was an interesting takeaway that I was just kind of curious to make sure that I was interpreting the data right. Toward the end of your presentation, we were looking at the proportionality of race and ethnicity in regards to total participation or enrollment. And I guess that's part of what I see the Student Senate role in looking at equity or racial inequity, as it were, and just looking at, why are these numbers trending downward, or what's working when the numbers are trending upward. And so, somewhere in here, there's supposed to be a question. And I guess my question is, when we get the ad hoc thing rolling, assuming that I can get onto that ad hoc committee, is that something that you'd be willing to come in and maybe, spend a little bit more time with this kind of presentation? Because there's a lot here.
Yes, there is a lot here, and I will, welcome the opportunity to go ahead and come and, share some more information with all of you. Definitely the data that I'm sharing here with you, since it is course-based, it could go all the way down to our faculties. We typically have shared as a part of, faculty process improvement or course improvement and things like that. Giving them a benchmark of just where they are, how their classes overall, or have trended over time. Because if you're going to be looking at making some improvement to anything, you usually want to go ahead and see and get a more or less a benchmark of where you are. Okay,
Sure.
Before you start to do something. Okay, so then once you start to do this new thing, you would like to see, did this new thing here, this new initiative have an impact on what I'm trying to do? Okay, so these things are more or less something that we can go ahead and provide to faculties, provide to course and subjects and stuff like that. There are some subjects that have looked at their data, English, say for example, some of the English courses and things like that, and they've tried to improve it because they are a gatekeeper. Okay, so some of the math courses, math is very much more predictive of how successful students are going to be. So if
And I just want to cut because I want to make sure other people have an opportunity to ask a question. I am on the Senate person appointed for the academic council as well. So I'll exchange my information with you and we can connect. But I want to make sure other folks get an opportunity to ask a question. You answered mine. Thank you.
yeah.
Any last minute questions, or unless we decide to extend the time by a couple of extra minutes, if anyone does have a question that's a little bit more lengthy, anyone at all?
I also, if you guys want to, reach out to me later on, that will be welcome too. Especially if you find yourself serving on other committees or something like that, that you want to reach out and say, hey, do we have this type of information? We have a lot of information. Okay, we have a lot of data.
No, it's a good thing. Who do I got? Senator Willis.
I was going to say, she just covered my question because there was some additional clarification because I was curious as to whether or not potentially learning styles have been taken into account. For example, I know a lot of students that approached me in the spring about having to drop their classes. They did it because they're auditory learners, and the online stuff doesn't work for them. And so I was just wondering if anybody's been collecting data like that, if that's something that we could look at too.
We do have.
Motion to extend the time just for the answer of this question.
Do I have a second on that?
I second.
Was that Sabranik that seconded?
Yep.
All right. All those in favor, just raise hands up quick. You can even raise your hands at this point. Okay, it passes. You got, answer. Go ahead, answer the question.
Okay. We do have more information. We did the summer terms survey of our students and went out to pretty much everybody. And so if any of you guys took the summer term survey, you may have seen that come through. But we got information from our about 700 of our summer students in terms of what's working out for them, what's not working out for them, and things like that, how satisfied they are, and comments and things like that, just so that we can improve it. So if you guys ever need like that type of information, I am more than happy to come and actually share some of that too with you in terms of, what are our students saying that's working and what do they not like, things like that. What do they like? I could do that too.
Senator Fisher. Oh, that was a mistake. Okay, I was gonna say. Well then I'm gonna kind of end that there and say thank you very much. We really do appreciate it. You don't know how much we really appreciate that. It's a lot of very detailed. And I love your presentations. They're very good. And we will definitely be in contact with you. Because you're going to be a big source for us of help. So thank you very much. And with that, I'm going to start moving down for the rest of us. Unless if we have any other. No, it doesn't look like it. So yeah, let's start going down the list here. What do we got first? The executive council report. What was the what were we talking about? We were definitely talking about racial inequity. That was definitely talked about at length. A decision was not made and will be made by next Wednesday, sometime after 6 o'clock, I think. Just making sure that we're really going in and looking at it deeply. So that got talked about. I'm trying to think about what else was spoken about. Getting our committee, having the vice president officers get their committees together, starting to get those together. And virtual office hours was mentioned. But yeah, that's all I can really remember at the moment. So yeah, I'm gonna say that concludes my report. VP Rubio.
So I guess very quickly, I'm in search of an alternate for SAB. So ideally somebody that would go to the meetings with me. But in case I can never be there, somebody that could fill us in, during these GA meetings, specifically around now and So if you are interested, feel free to send me an email. Tomorrow there is a meeting. If you just want to, check out the meeting and see if you're interested, it's at 1:30, I believe. Right, Sean? 1:30.
Yes, it is. Yep.
So if we can get that spot filled, that would be awesome. Other than that concludes my report, unless there's any questions.
Yes, Senator Sabranic, what's up?
I'm sorry I missed. Do you know what like the meeting is about? I missed that part.
So these are once a month meetings, right? Once a month.
Yeah.
And actually, Sean, you've been to them, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's every one of us who pays student fees for a degree program, I believe, just a degree program. I mean, you get special. You're in a degree program, you get a little bit of special, like you get access to certain things. You're like at as close as a full-time college student as possible. Then you're into it. You get access to the gym, all that stuff. But regardless of that, there are decisions that need to be made. That you basically are the ones that make the decisions. Now I don't believe, though. I don't know. I don't believe that the bylaws state though that the alternate can actually vote. Only can be there as like a placeholder, but it's still a great opportunity to learn where the money's going, learn what's going on. Like we closed the shuttle service for the semester because we made a judgment call that it was probably not going to be a good idea to do that. I mean, like it's those type of things. It's very informative, and you get to learn a lot. Ellie, what's up?
I'm just going to share a little bit
You're
more about
unmuted.
SLB. I'm muted?
I can't. All right, or technical. I can't hear you.
Not muted, so I don't know what happened. It's fine.
Is that okay? Yeah, I would just chat if but yeah, it is a good experience to learn. I can't hear somebody else talk for a second.
I was able to hear her when.
Literally somebody. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so it's you, Sean.
I don't
Okay.
know. I gotta throw those things away. That's so disappointing. Sorry. Ugh.
All right, cool. So Student
Fine.
Activities Board brings together all of the organizations on campus that are within student life. So it's everything from Senate.
But if anyone can hear me, I don't know.
We can hear you. And it also includes athletics and performing arts. So it brings together all of those groups to basically, important thing that Sean talked about already, decide how fees are allocated, but then also provide guidance on any other kind of big decisions that are happening. If new fees are going to be added or things like that. And then in the spring semester, that group really focuses on looking at 3-year plans for all of the organizations and approving budgets for next year. So if you need the link, you can email either of us, or any of the 3 of us, I'll have it. So if anyone wants to just join, you are more than welcome to tomorrow. 1:30, it'll probably go until 3-ish, is my guess, based on the
Yeah, it's 2 hours long, yeah. So yeah, it's a good opportunity. So yeah, you said that conclude your report though? No. Okay, awesome. Thank you, VP Rubio. VP Boyd is out. VP Moreno.
Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing good today. My report today. I'm just finishing all the little details for the virtual movie night event. I tried the screen thing and it works just fine, so we'll be able to do that. We'll have a backup plan if the event comes that the movie doesn't work. So I have that prepared for the team as well. There are a few senators that I'm gonna name that haven't answered either the availability, if they're gonna be in the event, the gift card option that they would like, or the movie. So if we could have that by this week, especially today, so that I can send out the movie options. I already have the ones that already answered, post out in the Google Forms for everyone. But I'm still, I want to open up the options for everyone. So I am missing So I'm missing Senator Ziegler, Senator Weiner, Senator Willis, Senator Subranek, and yep, those are the ones that I'm missing for all those details that I offered. Other than that, I think that's, yeah, in my report, I think that's all I have. I'll have more for student affairs later.
Awesome. Thank you, VP Moreno. VP Saeed, Public Relations. Do you have something for us?
Yep, I do. So, hello everyone. I just want to make some quick points. I would like to request everyone to join the Student Senate group in the Wolfpack app, and also please follow Student Senate on social media pages, and just don't forget to drop some likes. And yep, that's what I got. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, VP Saeed. Moving down special. Oh, I'm sorry. VP Rubio.
Would you mind sharing links for all that, just for like, so it's quick and easy and people can do it?
Yep. I'll do it in the chat.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good idea, VP Rubio. So that one, Senator Fisher, what do you have a question as well?
Well, actually, maybe this is more of you know, if there's a PR committee meeting question. I just wondered if any of the social networking included Reddit, the social networking platform Reddit.
Yeah, so we are not on Reddit as of now, but yeah, we are just on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Yep, that's what we are on. So.
All right, that answers my question, and I'll be sure to follow up with you later.
Yep, thank you so much.
Which I didn't know which one came first, Moreno or Zebel. So I'm just gonna say Zebel, you go first.
There, if you have any ideas for other social media that you think we should be a part of, definitely tell us, and we can look into it, because right now, like we said, we only have Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I do believe, I thought we had a YouTube. I'm 80% sure on that actually, so, but I know I believe we have YouTube too somewhere. But if you guys didn't know anything else or want anything else, definitely let us know and we'll take a look into it.
And VP Moreno, it looks like your hand's down now. Was that a mistake? Okay. Well then, if there are no other questions, then we're going to move it down and go to advisory report with Advisor Rome.
All right. It kicked me out of the meeting for a minute, so I turned my video off to get back in. So I sent an email yesterday to everybody about some of the programs that the Office of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Relations is working on. And I actually, after talking with the exec team yesterday, we sort of thought that it might be a good idea to do a Senate-specific book club if anybody was interested in reading How to Be Anti-Racist. So I'm not sure if I'm having trouble in seeing the hands. I see a lot of hands up. I'm not sure if those are intentional or if my computer's super laggy. But I would, sorry, that was from a previous report. I would be interested in just getting, if you could put something in the chat if you'd be interested in starting a Senate-specific book club. If we have enough people, I will put in a request to get books for all of us. And sort of, if people are comfortable, I would feel good with serving as sort of a facilitator. So feel free to put that in the chat, and then I can sort of gauge interest. If there isn't enough interest, then I'll let you all know, and you should participate in the student ones that are already being run. So yeah, let me know. Other things, I think a couple folks have not sent in their virtual hours. I did not check the spreadsheet to see in the last like 24 hours if anybody entered them in on the SharePoint spreadsheet itself, but make sure that you have those in by this weekend, because VP Syed is going to put them on Wolfpack Connect for next week to make sure that we're really putting the word out there. And we want to make sure that we have the full range of hours. And then finally, you should have gotten an email from me. Actually, I have two things. I remembered one other. You should have gotten an email from me 2 days ago about the Blackboard course that you are now enrolled in as a student leader in student life. Reminder to do that sooner rather than later. Don't get stressed out about doing it too soon if you have a lot else going on, but I would love for you all to complete it earlier. You do need to complete it in order to get the full stipend for this semester. So you are paid for that time, and I made an error in my email. It's actually $11.50, not $10.50. And if you have any trouble actually logging those hours, let me know. And then the last thing is that the Equity and Inclusion Forum is happening. You should all have the invite now. And as I mentioned in the email, that will count as an hour for service hours, office hours next week. So make sure that you participate if you are at all free. I know that they're really looking for a lot of students to be there and provide some feedback. So that's what I've got.
Any questions? I see something in the chat. What's that? No, it just looks like a link. Social media links. I believe if we're going to do a student book club, we should have a specific discussion instead of losing the dimension of diversity that will come from interacting with general student body. I guess I don't.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I guess that didn't make sense. I hate it. Sometimes I read it and it doesn't make sense after I read it. So as long as it made sense to somebody.
Yeah, so that was the idea, that we have a Senate specific one. So if anybody is interested in that, let me know and we will figure out a time to come together and have that discussion specifically within Senate. I would love for this to happen. I think all of the officers yesterday said that they were on board. So we would just need at least a few other senators to join us. So even if you're reading it for something else and would like to participate in that discussion, let me know.
Senator Willis, your hands up.
Advisor Rome's last statement clarified what I was about to ask, and which was just basically, I think we would all benefit from interacting with the other students, because if we're representing them, we should also participate in things like that with them. But like I said, we should have a separate discussion, to possibly process our outcomes from the book club, and then where we could potentially strategize on things we can do and put into action. That was the only thing that my thought was. So I'm on board.
Okay, so I guess that does make sense. If you are interested in doing the book club, sign up for a specific student time and let me know, or let me know. I think that's a really good idea to also participate in the ones that are open to all students, and maybe we could just have 1 or 2 discussions as a Senate for those of us who are reading the book instead of the full 4 weeks. I like that idea a lot, Katrina. Thank you.
Senator Fisher.
Okay, yeah, I didn't know if it was just somehow confused in the chat. I mean, I'm a part of a book club right now that looks at racially impactful kind of things. We started with white fragility. Right now we're reading Just Mercy, and it's actually led by the person who was supposed to do public comment tonight. So yeah, I like the idea of connecting with students, especially in reading these texts and having a Senate-wide discussion. I think it'll just be really well informed. I don't want to spend too much time on it now. I guess I'm just going to keep learning more about it with Advisor Rome and through other discussions.
All right. Thank you, Senator Fisher. Does that conclude your report, Advisor Rome?
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's move down the list. Student Activities Board. Well, VP Rubio, kind of nail on the head of the coffin, or whatever you call it. We have our first fall Student Activities Board meeting tomorrow at 1:30. And yeah, it's kind of gonna be an introduction with other organizations, and but yeah, it's I guess it's kind of a big thing. And more information after will follow afterwards, so you guys know what goes on. But yeah, that's all that's going on for that. So I'm gonna move down. Housing accessibility update. VP Saeed, since you are housing the chair of this ad hoc committee, what do you got for us?
I don't have a report, but I would be stepping down from the housing accessibility chair. So I would invite anyone who's interested in um, chairing the committee. So yeah, that's
All
all.
right.
Yep.
Thank you for letting us know, and we appreciate that. Okay, now let's a textbook digital equity update. Sounds like Zybel.
Yes. Okay, so I have some things, not much. All our hotspots are gone, so we ordered 200 more. And they were gone, so we ordered more. The problem is hotspots now in the future are going to be hard to come across. US Cellular is out of hotspots until October 2nd, so we aren't getting more until then. We are also looking back at Sprint because they have hotspots, but we're also seeing if they have a stronger connection signal to see if we can help eliminate the past Sprint hotspot issues. Other than that, that is about it. That concludes my report.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And we go down here. Textbook Affordability Committee is currently vacant. Regional and Metro Campus reports. Reedsburg is vacant. Watertown is vacant. Portage, Senator Runge, you have a report for us?
I'm on screen and with my mic on. Hopefully I don't lose you all. I've been having problems keeping up with without it sort of freezing up and fading out on me. So the Student Engagement Committee for the Northern Region, we finalized plans for pretty much for this coming month. Tomorrow, or actually today, we have virtual Constitution Day in conjunction with Truax. We are doing that A&W Car Hop ice cream cone treat we talked about. They're partnering with us, providing over 50% of the cost. They're just charging us $1 a cone. So that goes out tonight to students in zip codes in the Reedsburg and Portage campus area. And that is kind of a Fun Day promotion in conjunction with our Fun Day tie-dye t-shirt kits. We have things coming in and we're putting that together next week with distribution Monday through Wednesday of the following week, the 28th through the 30th. The ice cream cone promotion, like I said, we started it now because they close on December 4th. That gives, on October 4th, that gives students an opportunity when they're traveling to the Portage area to hopefully get an opportunity to pick those up. We're doing a voting promotion. We're going to do that sort of in conjunction. We're starting it next week, but then we're going to do it in conjunction with the Fun Day distribution when we've got some manned hours at the Portage campus. We discussed a couple of other fun activities that go beyond what Truax is doing. We talked about doing positive statement face mask where we would have, maybe some Cricut templates available or, for cutout with some ideas and encourage creativity to let students speak with their face mask with something creative. So we're looking at that, and we are sort of playing around with the idea of letting students web in when we're doing our committee meeting. We are trying to figure out a best time. Next meeting will be Wednesday next week. We've moved it because we don't have full attendance yet, and so we're just trying to find a time that we can get everybody on board from both Reedsburg and Portage. So Wednesday, September 23rd at 1 o'clock. Then the Portage report itself. I see you didn't give me full time for both of these. You only gave me I'm back down to 3 minutes. I should have, I think, double that. So the Portage itself report, we're continuing to work on pursuing placement of that student accessible scanner and 3D printer. I know Senator Zebel is following up and the campus manager is following up, trying to make sure that they don't lose track of, there was a line item. We were supposed to have that last school year. We had students have been expressing some concerns. I been hearing about this anti-cheating app that is being implemented. I did bring it up at IEC yesterday when somebody else talked about it. Apparently there's a lot of bad information on the internet. And maybe Advisor Rome can fill us in on what the name of that app is. I also had some other concerns that I checked into myself, one regarding the bookstore and one regarding financial aid departments. So I spoke to the bookstore about this concern. And it is true that students are required to enter a credit card number when they order their school books, even if they don't owe anything and they have paid their rental fee. In other words, they're gathering information that they don't need, and students without a credit card are going to be at a disadvantage. I asked how that's being handled, and the head of the bookstore said they have to come in and make a special appointment. So that's opening people up to the virus. I asked why they were doing that, and both they and the bursar's office, which I'll talk to you about in a moment, said it's out of our hands. It's an outside vendor. Sounds ridiculous to me that we're paying for services that don't really meet our needs appropriately. So the issue with the bursar's item is that students are required to allow permission for funds to be taken from their account, and also they're giving permission for overdraft penalties when they accept that when they're setting up to have their student excess funds reimbursed to them, whatever that, when you've got scholarship money or you've got a third party paying and they're paying more so that you have money to live on. So I checked with the bursar's office, as I said, about that, and they too said, oh, it's not our problem, it's this outside service. We would never take money from their account. I said, but legally, they're signing this agreement saying that they're giving you the right to take money, and they're giving you the right to take money even if there aren't funds in there, and they're giving you the right to then charge them fees for that, penalties for that. So obviously savvy students aren't doing that. This is causing more work for the students, for the college. They have to send out paper checks because students are saying, no, I'm not giving that kind of permission. And so, the gist of both of these issues with the problems that students have been bringing to my attention is, do we have a legal department looking at this? We're making students sign on to agreements that the college is then saying, no, don't worry about that. That's not the way you run any organization, let alone a huge college like this. Like, I don't understand why that's happening. So I wanted to bring that up. And if there is somebody on a committee that looks at these things, I would like that to be further reviewed. Are there any questions?
It sounds Ebel had his hand up for a while. What do you got?
Oh yeah, real quick. I messaged Jim Felco or emailed Jim messaged whatever. Yeah, Jim Felco about it. So I'm waiting on a response. So I got you.
Is that on the technology items?
Oh yeah, on your printer. Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Great, thank you so much, Eric.
Senator Fisher. I can't hear you.
Sorry, I always put my hand down and forget to unmute.
That's all right.
So yeah, I had experienced this myself. And so I definitely understand what you're talking about. I'd largely forgotten about it until you mentioned it. I'm glad that you did bring it up. I'm obviously just getting installed in the academic council, so I don't know if this is in scope. Maybe this is a student affairs council kind of thing. But in its abstract, because I support you on this, I would definitely agree that we have to have our policy be reflective of our intent. It's not good to say, well, we're not going to do it anyway, so don't worry about it. Like, no, the policy has to match what the intent is. So
it's a legal issue.
I agree.
Well, we can definitely look into it, and we'll make sure it's noted, and we'll look into it. So, but I do appreciate you bringing it to our attention, and it is something, that needs to be dealt with. All right, let's keep it down. For Atkinson is vacant. Goodman South is currently vacant, and College Assembly, VP Rubio. I don't know, where do you got at all? I don't think you probably would have anything. But if you did have something, let me know, and then Senator Fisher, once you can talk,
I believe VP Rubio might have needed to step away for a minute. He asked me to step in, but I think the two of you should put your heads together and give a report at the next meeting, since there will be it won't be anything new, but the meeting happened immediately before this, so I think you should come up with a report together and report next week for College Assembly.
All right, sounds good. Senator Fisher, you had a question though.
No, oh, is it academic council?
I was just about to get go. Next one, I was about to get to that. You're a little ahead, but yes, go ahead. Yeah, go for it. You can talk. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to be sure. Last week I kind of got skipped, and I didn't have anything really to report other than, I had been appointed to this role, and what I was going to do was reach out, which I did. So that's what I'm going to report on today with the academic council. We're getting ready to have a couple of meetings here in early October. There's going to be one on October 8th and one on October 2nd. And as I understand it today, they're just collecting a little bit of information about a presentation that they plan to present during the College Assembly. It's on operational planning. So that's really all that I have to report. I'm just introducing myself and getting installed here and trying to respond to these surveys in a timely fashion. I'll have more after College Assembly, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's what we need. So thanks, man. Okay, then Diversity and Community Relations Council is obviously not there. Facilities Planning and Investment Council, Senator Willis. No, nah. She even in here still? I know my participant list up. Senator Willis is still in here. Okay, I guess if you're having technical issues, if you could chat or something, but I'm gonna just continue on to keep this going. Let's go down my list even farther. Finance Councilor Senator Ziegler.
Yes, I have a report.
Awesome.
This semester, the enrollment is down 11%. And because of diminished revenue, there may be furloughs or layoffs of staff and facility, which is, we're going to see how that goes as time progresses. They also have did a change to the liberal arts transfer program. It's focusing on specific pathways through Madison College now. They have a liberal arts transfer, arts and humanities, economics and pre-biz, education, liberal arts transfer, engineering, just for a couple of examples. So there's various, it's more specific than just a general liberal arts transfer program. And they wanted to make sure everybody is aware the Writing Center is up and running. And on a sad note, the animal adoption program has been terminated for this semester. But the main takeaway is that enrollment is down 11%, and therefore revenue is also. Thank you.
All right, that was very informative. I appreciate that, Senator Ziegler. Let's move it on down. Information Technology Council. Senator Zibel, what do you got?
Nothing.
All right, then Institutional Effectiveness Council, Senator Runge, were you trying to say, Senator Runge, that you just did both of your reports at the same time? Is that what okay, good. Go for it then.
No, those reports, so previous to the shutdown, I had given a portage report and I had was given a second set of time to report on the Student Engagement Committee, because those are two separate sort of entities, what's going on in the portage versus what's going on with the committee that is there at the college. So I used to have time allotted for that, and I noted on my on your agenda that that wasn't there, and I didn't note that until I got to time to share. I would have asked for an amendment on it. Sorry. So going forward, hopefully that can be corrected, or I guess put an amendment forward. Now I'm about to begin the institutional effectiveness report. We did meet yesterday. Chairperson Rome provided an overview of where the DCRC Equity and Research Presentation Project is at this point. That's what we had been, that was the last project we've been working on when everything sort of shut down. All signs are pointing to developing a SharePoint site and then perhaps a physical type tool, perhaps a brochure, so that we can provide access to the data set. So those are the recommendations. That's the direction that we may be going. Things are sort of getting wrapped up with that. We're working to continue to ensure that the project is completely inclusive of all parties represented in the data compilation. I brought up when will student senate or when will the students contributions sort of be recognized, and so they will be planning on bringing the presentation to us once it's been finalized. We then discussed some plans for our upcoming meetings, and we explored ideas of partnering with the Dane County Madison area Race to Equity data collection project. That was something that was begun in 2013. Goal implementation was supposed to be this year, ironically. So we may work in some sort of a coalition with them. We're exploring, of course, supporting the college's anti-racist campus status efforts. And one of the things discussed was perhaps we could give some guidance on regarding transparency and keeping all in the loop, making sure that it is inclusive itself. We explored the overtaxation of staff, working on anti-racist initiatives, council members' abilities to contribute, because our staff definitely are working a different sort of hourly set. There's a lot more work that's put into an online course with that adjustment being made. So we're talking about mixing it up a little bit while we are in this virtual environment. And so we're kind of a work in progress right now as a council. Are there any questions?
Senator Fisher?
Yeah, I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more to the work with the Race to Equity. There's just, I was, oh, are we still connected?
Yeah, I can still hear you. I don't know, Sheila, you still there?
I see a frozen screen.
She was having technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Advise Rome.
Yes. Did you
still
get
there?
me? Yeah.
We can hear you at least.
Did you get me all in?
Well, I don't understand. We got your report in. Senator Fisher asked a question, and then it seemed like your screen froze. Now we just hear your voice with no image. He had a question, though. I was wondering if you could answer that for us.
I didn't get the question. It looked like it died on my end when I was ending my what I was saying. So could he repeat what he asked?
Mm-hmm. Sure. And if it disconnects again, I'd be happy to connect with you directly. Just trying to learn a little bit more about the work with Race to Equity, because I think there's going to be a lot of overlap, and I'm thinking about our brand new initiative. And so looking for the question here, I'm just wondering, how that folds into Madison College.
We definitely talked about, and I believe Chairperson Rome brought it up, that this was a larger issue. That's where, we talked about exploring, working with what the campus is doing. And like I said, maybe an area that was discussed was possibly giving some guidance for transparency or how the systems are working through these, providing some support for that in establishing procedures or something to so that the students know what's going on. Right. And so that all areas of the school, this is institutional effectiveness, is about are all of our parts moving together in the college. So, maybe supporting that. But collaboration with the Dane County and Madison area Race to Equity data collection was also discussed. No decision was made on this. We were just floating ideas. But that's something that is a Senate, in addition to the greater college, that we may want to look into. That was the first I heard that there was such a thing. So Chairperson Rome could provide more information on who brought that forward, because the name escapes me right now. Is advisor chair? She's chairperson room for IEC. Is advisor room here for?
Yeah, she's still on advisor room. Do you want to add any context to this?
Sure. The time has just expired for this report. But yeah, we were just brainstorming ideas for what we could explore. So it was just brought up as one thing we could look at. Not decided yet.
All right, cool. Well, then I'm gonna move on here. And let's Professional Development Council, Senator Willis, are you now able to talk with us?
I apologize. I had stepped out to the ladies' room.
That's all right. Why don't you just do both your reports right now, and let's get just
stop laughing at me, Marcus. I mean, VP Rubio. And I apologize for too much information.
That's all right.
Professional development is meeting for the first time this semester on Monday. So I don't have a report other than to say that we're meeting Monday until next week. And I was notified this past Monday that Facilities Planning and Investment Council has temporarily been suspended because one of our co-chairs retired and we need a new co-chair. And so I have basically reached out to a previous co-chair who would be interested in stepping back in. So I'm going to try to see if we can get that taken care of so that we can finish the sustainability plan and get that implemented as we were supposed to do at the end of the spring school year before everything shut down. So that's all I have is my report for both. And I do apologize for stepping away.
It's all right. That stuff happens. All right, if there's no questions, I'm gonna move it down. VP
I just
Moreno.
would like to, if I can just motion that the minutes reflect those reports in their respective locations so that it's not confusing to someone else in the future. That would just be, I'm sorry for the informal motion. The motion would have been to table it until the person was able to complete the report, and seeing both reports, just keeping the minutes the same so long as the report is documented in that.
Yeah,
time.
no problem. VP Rubio, can you just make sure that when you talk with Jonathan about making sure that happens or whatever, when he watches back the video of this, that'd be great. I appreciate that. And yeah, it's always good to be formal on it. VP Moreno, though, Student Affairs, what do you got for us?
Hello, I don't know if Ellie, you had advisory room, you had anything to say that you had your hand up? No?
Oh, you did have your hand up? I'm sorry.
Oh no, she didn't. Okay then.
Oh, okay.
So for the Student Affairs Council, the conclusion of the meeting that we sent out was that we are identifying student mental health as a barrier for student success. So the idea is that they are looking for student support or student representative support for the Student Retention and Success Department. The idea is that they want to create a steering council that deals with those topics, basically just providing mental health initiatives, action plans, prevention training, mental health policies, basically all that engulfs that aspect. And they are looking for, and that I have the email right open here next to me, so they're looking either for a representative or a student senator or the VP of Marketing and Communications. They're also looking for a representative from the Student Affairs Council also as well. And an equity and inclusion representative. And those are the positions that I see that we could have in Senate that could work for the committee. So if anyone is interested, the deadline that they have for the committee to like start working would be September 30th. It's not that definite that date, but that's the deadline that they have for now. And they just want to schedule at least a kickoff meeting to just get to know between the members and just start working on with the counselors that are Jared Xavier and John Boyne from the Student Success, both really good counselors. So yeah, I mean, if anyone's interested, I can share more information. So it's basically like the main prompt is, how can the college community work to raise awareness, promote, and provide opportunities? Yep.
I sent this email out
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Letting
Yeah, no,
everyone know about this, giving them an opportunity. Um, I would say that after this time, anytime that there are open spots, we're just going to make applications that they're for, they would then go to Ellie and then the executive council could go over them like we spoke about yesterday at the executive council meeting, because I
Yep.
think that that would be best. But, I did say if anyone is interested, they've got till next Friday to let me know if they're interested. They formally need to let me know by giving me at least a sentence that says, I'm interested in this.
yeah.
And
I
that's
just
all they
felt that
gotta
as
do. And then the
like
executive council makes
it's
that decision from there. But after that, it will be applications just like how the VP officers
yeah. I
ran.
just uh, think that as the representative in that council, it's good for me to bring it up.
Oh yeah, no, definitely bringing it up. Like mental health is an issue, and you're doing what you're in your spot to do. So no, I
And
totally agree on that.
uh, and yeah, so I did had one last thing that goes a little bit away from the Student Affairs Council thing, but to answer Senator Said question about the honor log, it is a Google Chrome extension that is being used to take tests. I know that it started in summer. It was the first time that it was like being implemented, and it kind of works with the idea of like being proctored in the exam. So you will have like a camera and you have to show your room, you have to show your student ID. So I know that some students are kind of complaining about the extension because they have been having some issues with it. But other than that, I know that Senator Rungi was the one that mentioned it, but I just saw your question and I thought I could follow up with what I had. That's all I have.
Yep, thank you.
Looks like I don't see any questions or anything in the chat, and I'm gonna go ahead and move down the list. And we've got no old business. We have no new business. I saw a big security flaw. Thank you. Non-business housekeeping items, classroom presentations, VP Moreno.
Okay, so um, so as it is customary in Senate, usually when the semester begins, uh, the members of the Senate are encouraged to talk about Senate in their classes. We know that it's virtual in this case, so it's not going to be like the same in-person type of presentation, but many professors are open at least to have like an announcement where you can just share links or put a little bit information about what Senate is about. That we're just here encouraging students to, if you have any concerns or questions, come to us. Other than that, in discussion boards as well, in the Blackboard usually works. So it's just that same idea of just being able to, first of all, have permission from your professors or faculty to see if you could share more information about Senate. And I'm sure that Advisor Rome and I could just, I could send out information about what specifically we would like to send out just in case. And just talking about the main points that we were thinking about that were the information about invitations to the regional campus, but I know that's on that side. And yeah, and Advisor Rome. Yeah, sorry.
I just wanted to clarify that it is a requirement that you
Yep.
at least ask each of your instructors. So not suggested, but actually part of the stipend rubric that we go through at the end of the semester, that each of you needs to at least reach out to your instructor and ask if you can present or send out a message through Blackboard. And then once you have done that, either actually sent the message or done the presentation or just reached out, you're going to let Vice President Rubio know, and he's going to track that in the stipend spreadsheet that he keeps track of, so that when we go through the stipend rubrics at the end of the semester, we can make sure everyone met those requirements.
Senator Fisher.
Yes, I guess I didn't specifically ask my professors about that. Like, I just kind of did it. I mean, I've spoken to both of my professors about bulk emails because I do study groups, and they said, through that, send whatever you want. So yeah, I don't know if this is one of those like ask forgiveness, not permission kind of things, but I just wanted to be sure that is still compliant with our way. I do understand, though, you certainly generally want to ask first before kind of doing that, because the students receive it. It's a very official looking subject line that you get in your email. So you wouldn't want to be disruptive, if you weren't sharing something that was relevant to academia.
I think you're okay on that. And I have screenshots, so I know it happened. But if you could just let Vice President Rubio know that you did that for your courses, that would be helpful for the official tracking.
VP Saeed.
So I was wondering if we were able to get contact with some of the professors at regional campuses, and if we were able to make any promotions on their pages, or we could just say them, if you could just pass on this information to the regional students, I think that would be helpful. So are we able to get any contacts of the professors at regional campuses?
Technically, yes. The address book is completely open to everybody in the entire campus, is all campuses. So yeah, you could. You just have to look them up. I mean, literally, that's all you gotta do. And she could help. Senator Rugny.
So we are, one of the project student engagement committee is undertaking as a component of our virtual events is we disseminated the zip codes for the people in the northern region, and we're linking that with students out in our area, whether they're Truex students, Reedsburg students, or Portage students, or whatever. So we are, and I myself am working on an initiative to target based on the program they're in, working with the program instructors, sort of to try to get a very targeted marketing message. Looped in our student advisor out here, our new student advisor, and I'm hoping to loop in the marketing person in the outlying campuses. Maybe she's for all campuses, I'm not sure. That's Nicole. So that's something I started this summer with the campus manager, but we'll be doing it for, we'll start with Portage, and I was hoping to hit Reedsburg as part of our northern region outreach. So that's being worked on, I guess.
So yeah, Saeed, VP Saeed, we'll look into it. You're the PR, public relations guy, so we'll figure it out. We'll put it down on the list. But I don't know which one. I know there was another hand beside Sheila's, but other than Advisor Rome. But Advisor Rome, you no longer want to.
I
thought I saw.
accidentally left it up.
Oh, all right. Then it looks like no one's got anything to say. All right, class and presentations are done. College activity, the book obviously was the book idea that we were talking about. That now has been covered and talked about, and so, that is a good thing. We got that out of the way already. So, announcements, you know the drill. Get the office hours done by 11:59 p.m. at the end of this week. Check Microsoft Teams for any information that relates to Senate. So does check your school email, both of them, if you got both of them. Senator scale reports by Senator Jones, though, by Sunday 11:59 p.m. as well. And any other announcements that need to be made? I saw Rubio. I'm just going to let Rubio start. I think maybe your advisor Roman source. But Rubio, what do you got? Just say it.
Okay, so I want to make sure everybody can hear me. So, everybody put their hand up too. For now, just a little while, reports send to me. I'll be taking care of the minutes and stuff. So I just want to make sure everybody hears that. Don't send anything to John. Please send everything to me temporarily until further notice.
All right, well then, correct. My bad. Corrections. Advisor Rome.
Exciting announcement. The Programs and Activities Council is planning a drive-in movie. They just added the event to Wolfpack Connect. I think it's on October 9th in the evening. So I'll work with probably Aleem to see how Senate could be involved with that. But yeah, it's going to be good. I'm excited. And I know you all are, because you brought it up a couple times.
So it looks like, well, Fisher, but I'm gonna get Zybel, your question.
You should probably skip me.
Okay, well then we will. Senator Fisher.
I think I know where Senator Zybel is going, but get your census in, folks. Do the census.
And good advice. Rubio, you any? Willis. Willis, what do you got first? Hey, you got your chance skipped. We're going. Willis.
I just want to remind everybody that if you have not already requested a mail-in ballot, to do so. And I would encourage people to not mail them back in. They're accepting them in the drop boxes for the at the libraries or taking them to City Hall or whatever. But I would say if you haven't requested one already, make sure that you do. They started sending them out today. I was on a professional development call with City Hall this morning, so I know that they were supposed to be starting to send them out today. So if you haven't requested it, please do so, because I think that's the only way we can ensure that we get our votes in, and that at least minimize me having to be at the polls until 4 a.m. in November. Thank you.
Thank you for reminding us about that. Then was somebody else other than Zybel? There was something in the chat here. Let me see. Vote. Yep, I see that. We know. But I'm going to entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. It looks like we got a motion made by VP Said. Do I have a second?
My second.
Second.
A second by VP Sobranik. All those in favor, please do the hand raising feature now. And all those opposed, you can put them down. All those opposed, and then do the hand raising feature, please. You can put them up now. And then you can put them down. And anyone who abstains, put them up now. And put them. All right. And then we pass. We're adjourned. 6:11 p.m. Mark that. And everybody have a great rest of your night and a great rest of your weekend. And be safe. And wear a mask and all that jazz. But be safe. All right. Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.
Bye.